Hey guys, how's it going? Laura with Garden Answer. Today's project is going to be awesome. This is probably the biggest project we've ever done on video. We're going to be installing a paver patio and fire pit here at my brother and sister-in-law's house. I've been looking forward to this project for a while. Huge thank you to Home Depot for partnering with us on this project. We're going to be using some of their rumblestone pavers in a really pretty gray stone color. Then we'll be decking out the area with furniture when we're all done. So let me show you where we're putting the patio. So this is a 16-foot by 16-foot square area. This is where the patio is going. We've already called locates to make sure we're not going to run into any electrical or gas lines, so we're good there. We've got it all marked off and I've got it all level. So the first thing that we need to do is use this sod cutter and take the sod out, and then we need to dig down about 7 inches. All right guys, so we got all the soil removed to about a depth of 7 inches. That was a lot of hard work. I'm glad we had a lot of hands here. We ended up using the sod cutter to help us lift the soil out because the soil is very, very hard, which will make for a really good base for the patio, but very hard to dig. So we're able to make several passes over the whole area with the sod cutter to lift it up just a couple inches at a time, and we just scraped it off with our shovels. So after we did that, we raked it all out, removed any large stones, so kind of leveled it out. So now what we're gonna do is run the plate compactor over the top of the soil, and then just to compact everything down, and then I'll check for level again and measure it before we bring our crushed gravel layer in. So we had the crushed gravel delivered a little bit earlier today. There's 6 yards of it, which I'm told will make a 4-inch compacted layer in a 16 by 16 foot area. It looks like a ton out there. So we'll see how that goes. But what you do is you put a couple inches down at a time, compact it, bring a couple more inches in, compact it until you have about 4 inches in there. And then we'll measure everything up and make sure we have enough room to accommodate a 1-inch layer of sand and our pavers, which are 1 3/4 inches. All right, so it's day number 2. So what we're gonna do first is lay a 1-inch layer of sand, and we have it in bags over here. This is paver sand, 50-pound bags. I think I've got about 48 of them, so we'll see how far that gets us. We're going to be laying down a couple of pipes and then screeding the sand, and I will explain that when we get to that step. So as you can see, we have some sand in here. I've laid a couple of 1-inch PVC pipes that will help guide our 1-inch layer of sand, so we make sure it's uniform. So I laid those parallel each other, and then we just poured some sand all around. This is paver leveling sand. And to screed, what you do is you take a 2x4 and you pull it the length of the pipes like this to help level out your area. And it might be that you've got to add a little bit of sand here and there to fill in any gaps, but this just makes a really nice uniform layer. So we're gonna work in really small sections. So this is the first one. We'll screed this whole area, lay our pavers, then we'll move on to the next one. We started to install the pavers and it's going really well so far. It's all level, which makes me happy. We went with a really simple pattern just because this is the first paver patio I've ever installed, so I wanted to keep it simple, but I think it looks very classic. This is called a running bond pattern. So you have a straight row of pavers, and then the next row is just offset from your first row, and then you just go every other one. So it's pretty simple. We did have to cut a few just because, you know, if you're setting a paver, a full-size paver, we needed a half size right here. It was very easy. We just used an angle grinder and cut through. It cut through about half of the paver, and then you use a rubber mallet to tap the paver in half. Very easy. Before we actually laid the pavers, you saw us put the sand in. We got that screeded and leveled, but we did install this paver edging first as well. And we just started at this end, and we've made it a little better than halfway. Just have a little bit more to go. Guys, it's the last day and the patio is all in, and I absolutely love how it turned out. I love the pattern. We have a couple more steps to do today. I'm hoping to get everything done and get the whole thing all decked out with furniture and plants and pretty things. It's kind of the fun part today. So after we got all the pavers put in last night, we put down a layer of permasand, and you sweep it into all the cracks in between the bricks, and then you wet it down. The sand has a binding agent in it so that when you wet it, it binds everything together so you have a really solid surface and nothing is going anywhere. But right in the middle of that process, it started to storm all of a sudden. It had been sunny and beautiful all day long, but all of a sudden the wind started to blow and then it rained. That is the only step of this project that you want to make sure that you do it on a bone dry surface. So we were frantically sweeping that sand into the cracks and trying to get it off the surface of the patio, because if any water hits that sand, it just starts to clump it up. I think we did a pretty good job because today it looks pretty good. We ran a stiff broom over the top of the pavers just to clean off any excess. So now we're gonna build the fire pit, and we're gonna do that right in the center. So we have plenty of room for seating and pots and pretty things around the exterior, and then we'll seal all of the pavers. All right guys, the project is complete and I could not be happier with how it turned out. It took quite a bit of work, quite a few hands, but there's really nothing quite like the feeling of accomplishment you get when you get a project like this done, you see it come together and you really like the result. So starting at the patio level, these are paved stone rumble stones in the color gray stone, and there are several different colors to choose from. But what I really like about these is that there's a subtle color variation. So we didn't even try to disperse colors, we just pulled them off the palette and installed them the way they came off the palette, and we got this beautiful look. They also come in a bunch of different sizes. So this is a 10.5 inch long by 7 inch wide size paver, and we went with just a simple running bond pattern just to minimize the amount of cuts we had to do to accomplish this patio. But they come in a square, they come in a standard brick size, so you can really go to town with different variations of style and pattern. And then moving up to the fire pit, this actually comes as a kit. 38 inches wide, 14 inches tall. It's super simple to put together. So what we did is we started by just stacking the bottom layer, and then when we stacked the second layer, we used a concrete adhesive between all of the pavers to keep it all together, so that if any kid bumps into it on accident, or if somebody uses it as a footstool, because we all like to do, it's not gonna go anywhere. So it was very easy to put that together. And then moving up to the other stuff, this was really fun. It was fun just to deck out the area with some really comfy furniture, some really nice pots, and I went with black because black goes with everything, and you can utilize these pots in different areas with other different colors of pots, and they always go. I also wanted to minimize the amount of pattern that I had going because I really wanted the pavers to shine, and I knew that the furniture was going to have quite a bit of detail in it, so I think sticking with kind of a simple straight line in the container really worked. But I was able to plant up a bunch of beautiful shrubs and annuals to make this space feel really warm and inviting. So I hope that this project was inspiring to you guys. My most favorite thing of the whole project was actually this fire pit, because I think it's such a beautiful focal point and it was so easy to put together. Maybe you already have a patio, but you don't have a fire pit yet. I just feel like it could go anywhere. Even out in the grass, you could create a really fun seating area, make some really fun memories with your family, have some fires during the summertime. So you guys, we will put links down below for everything I use in this project if you're interested in learning a little bit more. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.